Today marks my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and as I was pondering ways of celebrating this milestone, I noticed a comment to an old post I made on Discord. In the post, I thanked everyone that had supported my channel as it passed 800 subscribers, to which somebody responded, "How?" Not so subtle burn aside, this is actually a very good question. How does a content creator gain subscribers, especially when starting out? More importantly, how did the larger channels get to where they are today? Both of these questions are best answered by somebody with more YouTube experience and success than me. So I reached out to YouTuber VintageBeef to pick his brain on the matter. The purpose of the I guess you could call it an interview, is just basically to get a idea of what it's like to do like YouTube or to create content on YouTube from somebody who has actually made it, as far as has made it to be a professional level,
Okay.
Because like for me, I jokingly call myself a professional in videos I do, but honestly, I don't get paid to do YouTube, so so that's something that I would need somebody who has made it to answer, because I think a lot of people when they start off on YouTube, they don't realize what they're getting into, as far as what it would take to make it a profession, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's more work than expected.
Yes, it is. I jokingly, or not so jokingly, say that it's my other job,
Right?
Because it does take that amount of effort. So anyway, just a quick recap for people in case they've been not paying attention on YouTube. I wanted to cover a little bit of your resume, more recent resume too, just to give people an insight as to kind of where you're at. In the event that for some reason they're watching this video but haven't actually seen your channel.
Yeah, no worries.
But for you're actually a longtime member of Minecraft, and and then currently you are an active hermit on the current season of Hermitcraft as well.
Indeed.
You've got a lot of successful series, with some of the more recent ones being your Building a Zoo series, which was wildly successful.
Yeah.
Until the technical difficulties, which I'm really sorry about. That was actually a really good series. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I could give you a little inside info. The Zoo series will be back in a different way relatively soon. That's all I can say about that.
I'm sure a lot of people will be excited for that.
Yeah.
I currently have a Zoo series going on the server you host, actually.
Nice.
And it's actually very, very successful on my channel as well. So you've also hosted the Pixelmon Let's Go and Pixelmon Evolve servers. And you currently are doing a Pixelmon series on the Complex Pixelmon server. So
yeah,
those are all doing very well. Now, getting to the point though, those didn't. I'm going to take a guess here and say those didn't just start off as big hits immediately because you had 0 subscribers and everything was wonderful,
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody starts from 0.
Yeah, I take it. That they started. You started off on YouTube at some point. How long have you actually been a content creator?
So I started my channel in April of 2011, so I guess 9.5-ish years now.
So the better part of a decade now. So I mean,
yeah.
And you start off at 0, which is where everyone else starts off. And right now, what's your subscriber count? You're up to like 1.5 million, is it?
Yeah, something like that. 1.5 and some change.
And some change, yeah. So okay, so that's a huge jump, obviously, but that is over the course of almost a decade.
Yeah.
So if you think back 9.5 years now, in your first year, and this is an objective question, obviously, because it could be determined based on subscriber count, or maybe you were making an income or whatever, but you had maybe a personal goal. How successful were you in your first year?
So I would say from about, if my memory serves me correctly, I would say from about April to September, the channel was growing, I guess you could say fairly slowly. A couple subscribers here and there. Nowadays, if you're getting a couple subscribers here and there every day, that's actually not bad at all, because of all the competition out there. But back then, a couple subscribers here and there was pretty standard. So every day I was gaining, 1 or 2 or something like that. But then in around September, there was the first little jump that I experienced did happen within the first year. So I would say I would categorize my first year as really successful only because of I got some lucky breaks. Like the first 6 months though, I gotta say, was grinding it out. I was working a full-time job and had to, when I got home, that's when I made my videos. I think I was trying to aim for a video a week. I can't remember if it was a video a week or a video a day, but I remember it eventually got to like a video a day sort of thing. But I think I was aiming for 1 or 2 a week at first, and you just had to grind it out after work, sit down. Luckily, I didn't have any kids or anything. I still don't, so that probably will keep me busier when that happens eventually. But yeah, I just sat down after work every day, recorded, edited, uploaded, and really just kept on it.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Is that consistency is something that I've heard reiterated by people who have made it. You were mentioning about how you set your own schedule with 1 or 2 videos a week, and that's an important thing to do, is to basically give your audience a what to expect.
It really is, and I wish I could do it more nowadays. My schedule is so chaotic nowadays that I just try to get a video up in a week, or 2 a week, but I often don't have a set day and time, which is for me terrible, because I started, I think the first like 5 or 6 years on YouTube, I was super consistent down to the hour, day, hour, minute. I would upload that same day, that same time, every week, every month, over and over again, and now I just can't keep up with that, and it's driving me nuts.
And in reality, the consistency thing is the most important when you're starting off, because of effectively what you're doing is building an audience.
Exactly.
It's once you've made it bigger, it's not as important. It's important to keep putting out videos consistently, in the sense you get at least a video out a week or whatever. But if you miss a date, your audience isn't just going to vanish immediately. Whereas when you're low on the totem pole, if you miss a date, people are going to be like, "Did this guy just quit?"
I think what happens is you notice it if you're a smaller channel, because I am sure that people leave. If you're a bigger channel and you don't upload a video for a week or 2, people are like, okay, well, he's obviously done, and they leave. But you don't notice it because you have a larger audience. But if you're a smaller creator, just one person leaving, you notice it.
You also mentioned that you got some lucky breaks. Was there ever a point when you noticed that your when your channel, you said it was in September of your first year, when your channel actually really took off? And do you know, for example, of what one of those lucky breaks actually was?
So the first lucky break was winning the Minecraft contest. Good, who ran the Minecraft server back then, had a contest to join the server, and I entered my video and I won. So as soon as I joined, that was already my first lucky break, and my subscriber count started increasing and my audience started growing. And then I don't know how much long afterwards, but then somebody pranked. I think it was a while afterwards, because I don't think it was even in the same season, if I'm not mistaken. But a while afterwards, he actually was good again. He pranked my build. I was building like a huge castle, and he filled it with vines.
Oh, the vining, yes.
And up until that point, I'd never really played around with editing as much as I did on that video. And so I really just, looking back at it now, it's not really much of an editing feat, but back then it was. Nowadays, everything is like super, super edited, and it's just it's amazing the things that people do with videos now. But back then I really sat down and edited the best I could, and then that got a lot of attention, that video. And then the third break was when the biggest one probably is when I started the Steve versus Steve series on YouTube, which until this day I think is still one of the most viewed series on my channel. And that I gained a lot of subscribers from that and a lot of attention from that. So you got to get lucky. Also, you got to be good, but you got to be lucky too.
That's true. Your Steve versus Steve series, it's the first video that actually has over 12 million views.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. But yes, the vining, actually, you're talking about the editing and that.
Yes.
I have seen that episode, and it's subliminal editing, I think is what it's called. I can't remember the exact name of it. It's basically, if you ever watch The Graduate, it's used in there as well with Dustin Hoffman, when Mrs. Robinson first exposes herself to him. It's quick jump cuts to the thing that is traumatizing the person.
Right.
And so for you, it was all the vines.
It was traumatizing.
Right in the beginning of it, yeah. So that was a good episode. All right, so, and speaking of editing and the consistency and all that stuff like that, what is actually probably the most challenging thing for being like a YouTube content creator? in your opinion?
These days it's maintaining a regular schedule, just because I have so much going on in my life. But I guess that's more specific to myself. As a creator in general, probably the most challenging thing is keeping your audience's attention. It's tough. You know, you got a series that goes on a long time, and then people just lose interest, and then you got to like sort of reimagine a series or reimagine an idea that you had or that you've already put into play. You gotta just recreate yourself over time, and it's tough because the people are there, but the people you can't take them for granted. They're not just gonna watch whatever you put out, so you got to be careful with what you put out. You got to try different things and do different things, so you're constantly trying to like reimagine your videos and your brand and all kinds of stuff just to keep their attention.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, people seem to come back for series or for servers, even in Minecraft, whenever they start fresh. So yes, I guess starting fresh on some things when they become stagnant is a good idea.
Right, and that's why a lot of the channels that do just one video of a game do well, because it's just that first video that they're doing. But then people also lose interest in that. It's like, oh, I want to see more of that game, so where's the rest of that game? And it just never comes. So it's a delicate balance, this YouTube thing.
And then I guess the final question I got for you is going forward, for people who are just starting off on YouTube, who are just trying to start a channel, who have that 1 or 2 subscribers, or their friends have subscribed and that's it, and they don't have any direction as to where they're going. What bit of advice could you give that person so that they could move forward? Yeah,
I would say I've got a few things that I guess I can say. Consistency, like we mentioned before, is important, so try to keep a consistent schedule. The few people you have will come back time and time again, and you'll keep the subscribers that you already have. That's already important. I would also get involved with other similar based content creators. You can either play games with them, or you can even just commenting on people's channel, watching other videos to see what other people are doing. Staying involved within that community that you are a part of is important. And yeah, I think just like being yourself. I know that's so cliche, but don't put on an act. If you put on an act, people will see through it. I think. I mean, I always felt that way, and maybe I watch creators who do put on an act and I don't see through it. So kudos to them. But usually, you can sort of tell when somebody's like trying to be a wilder version of themselves, or a funnier version of themselves, or a goofier version of themselves. It's kind of frustrating to watch sometimes, and that usually doesn't bode well for, I guess, their audience over the long haul. So yeah, those are the 3 things I would say. Also, just enjoy it and don't expect it to be a job. It doesn't work out for everybody, so if you're just having a good time, whatever happens, just take that approach. But don't stress yourself out if yesterday you gained 1 subscriber and the next day you lose 2. Just keep doing what you're doing, and if you enjoy it, eventually, if you stick with it long enough, you'll grow a decent audience. All
right. Well, thank you very much for your insight on this. This has been very helpful. Hopefully, this will help out other people out there too watching this. So,
no, I appreciate you asking me.
Hopefully, you guys found that discussion to be informative and helpful. I've gotten several comments asking how to start growing a channel, and after talking with Beef and from my experiences, it comes down to these key factors. Number 1, be consistent. Set your own schedule and stick to it. Number 2, be yourself. Let your own personality and talents shine. Don't just try to copy others. Number 3, actively bridge the community between you and your audience. Reach out and let people know that you exist by joining groups, building a community of other players, and any other ways that you can think of. Number 4, keep your eyes open for opportunities or lucky breaks. They don't come around very often, so seize them when they do. Thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like before you go, and consider subscribing for more content.